There you go. Thursday's close. Very important stuff across the board, across all assets. I mean, I noticed a few important points. So, I mean, lots of assets, lots of different sectors are at support, I would say. Not strong support. In fact, when it comes to the markets, it's everything but the S&P. So I'll get to the markets in a second. But a lot of them are at support. I'm talking about markets. I'm talking about a few commodities. I'm talking about Bitcoin, make or break moment. And also same on the opposite side, some at resistance, the dollar, the DXY, we'll take a look at that. Yields I think they'll keep going up. But we're going to take a look at everything. Obviously, silver saved gold today. I've never actually said those words together, but I just felt like gold was really falling off, and then silver, that strong support, the horizontal and the ascending coalescing. I just feel like silver just, and you could see it was really strong at one point, up over 2%, 2.5%, I think. And gold sort of rallied a decent amount and then fell back down towards the day. We'll take a look at gold and silver. The miners, the GDX, GDXJ were not totally aligned with the markets. That's good to see because I still think the market's going to absolutely crumble. I think they might have a bounce tomorrow, by the way, but like I said, that little right shoulder is going to be created, then flush, flush out some more, and we'll look at yields. But I feel like the longer end of the yield curve, the 10, especially the 30, is rising, whereas the shorter end, the 1 year is a bit special, but the 2 and the 5, especially the 2, it's not rising as much. That's been happening for a while, but I heard this a few days ago, and it does seem to make sense. But when you have the yield curve inversion, that's when a recession is near or is imminent. Well, apparently, when the yield curve uninverts, so it's inverted already for a while, and then it uninverts, that's when the recession really is coming front and center. So, and finally, another point is there are several large cap stocks. I'm talking about the Magnificent Seven. They've lost critical support. I don't want to make a big video, but I might have to. Let's start with the markets. S&P, look at this. Absolutely. I mean, yesterday it closed at low of day, it lost its ascending. I said we'd go lower we went. I still think we're going to come back down to 430 and then create a small right shoulder and then go lower. At that point, we'll start heading the ascending, probably bounce again, and we'll see what happens. But I think we have to go all the way back down. So I don't know what's going to break the market. It'll be the yields, but yields will trigger something else, which will trigger an absolute waterfall sell-off. That's the way I see it, and it's probably going to be the banks. But the S&P, now it looks a lot more obvious that the top is in. Obviously, been saying it for some time. I have been saying it for a while whilst we were going up, but this one really felt a bit too much. And look how high we went. And even the German markets, look at this. This has lost critical support, by the way, today also. I don't really comment about these, but I've been looking, the FTSE, look at that, lost the ascending ages ago. It doesn't even exist. I think the FTSE will lose its horizontal tomorrow, maybe Monday, Tuesday next week. CAC 40. So, these ones, they popped up, made new all-time highs, but struggled ever since. And I think that weighed on a little bit on the US markets. So let's look at the Nasdaq. Look at this. I didn't think it'd do it straight away, but maybe by Friday, but it's exactly hit the horizontal. Closed at low of day, by the way. Hit the horizontal. Now, what do I expect? If it does go low, it should bounce on the ascending, but it could be a massive drop day. If we start to bounce, I do expect to bounce tomorrow, by the way. A little bit of a, plunge protection team pump here, which should create a little right shoulder. And if it comes back down again, you've got a really horrible or beautiful head and shoulders pattern where I think the right shoulder will be smaller than the left. And it doesn't even matter what it is. I think we're going to lose this ascending at that point, and down we go. And all the way back down to 338. That's just retesting breakout we never retested. So that's really not asking much. But Nasdaq, absolutely what I wanted. Dow Jones, absolutely what I wanted or expected. So right back down again. I said between these two tram lines, depends what's happening elsewhere. Straight back down to this one. So it's done that. Now what happens? Well, if we go lower, we hit this ascending. I do think we'll have a small bounce tomorrow. We might start off red, but close here. Whatever, even if the bounce continues Monday, Tuesday next week, a small bounce, and just like the others, small little shoulder here, even though there's no left shoulder, you know what I mean? And then hit this ascending and lose the ascending. Might have to start getting a bit more serious about how strict my ascending is, but you get the point. Russell, boom, right back down here on the ascending. I actually closed below the ascending. Maybe I should readjust it and make it more precise. You see, if I make it more precise, it's actually just there. For me, that's right on the money. So small bounce, but again, like the others, a small bounce, and then we lose the ascending, and then we retest the where we are now, 183.6 or whatever, and then down we go with more. You can see how the Russell, okay, the Dow was one of the laggards, but that came down eventually, put up nice resistance, nice attempted support here, but eventually capitulated, and the Russell even more so. Looking at the banks, this was surprising. The banks kind of outperformed. They were still red. But, when you've got a sort of -1% day across the markets, you'd expect the banks to be down more than -1%. Wasn't the case. XLF just down 0.5%, nothing crazy. For me, it's hard to call where support is. You could actually make a case that support is where the low of day was on that day. There's resistance here, but I still think, sorry, the markets are going to come lower. Even if there's a small bounce, I just all the way down. Banks just come all the way down. One of them is going to just implode. Maybe a big bank implodes, right? A little Deutsche Bank out of the blue. That'd be wonderful. KBE, look at that, unchanged, almost closed unchanged, pretty much did. So that's impressive. Across the board, the banks just completely outperformed, weren't even down really. KRE, same sort of thing. But look, they're at that support zone. So another sort of asset class. KBE not as obviously at support, but KRE definitely, at support. And look, again, besides the S&P, look at the Nasdaq at support, Dow Jones at support, Russell at support. So maybe some big funds or whatever, big boys were expecting a bounce and they just bought early. Yesterday, today at the close, I'm not sure, but the point is, out of these, 7 ETFs, one of them is not at support. So I think the market is due for a small bounce tomorrow, but I still think we go low. Sorry, yields are way too high. Let's look at yields. Okay, 1 year irrelevant, just always between these tram lines, doesn't really matter. 2 year interesting, a little red. Now nothing major, but it didn't go to new highs, didn't close at new highs, it actually closed red. Now let's keep going. 5 year, that was green, not by much. It was basically unchanged, but look, you can start to see the difference between the 2 and the 5. 10 year, look at that, a lot stronger, up 0.5%, best close ever. And when I say ever, I mean during the bear market. And by the way, we touched perfectly this old high here, 4.33, and the 30 year, boom, also touched the old high, 4.42 or whatever that is, best close ever. So the longer out you go, the more bullish the candlesticks. 30 year tomorrow, I don't know, it doesn't have to go up tomorrow. You can have a little pause, but next week, up we go, 10 year. Next week, up we go, new highs, 5 year. Up we go, also new highs, 2 year. Probably test the high, it starts to go green again, a small delay. 1 year, don't know, maybe finally closes up here. Point is, yields are going up big time. Still, nothing's really going to stop it. And unless there's a massive freak out in the markets and people just start to buy bonds out of fear, and then yields go back down again, which would be absolutely a copy of, let's look at the 2 years, very obvious then, a copy of the banking crisis in March. That it's just going to happen. I just think it's going to happen. Let's look at the other yields real quick. The EU, okay, it gave up a lot of its gains, still green day, just going to go up like everything else. Look at the British, by the way, unbelievable, new highs, 10 year, boom, done. Look what happened last time in this pension crisis. Now we're at new highs. What are you going to do now? And by the way, your debt's bigger, deficit's bigger, welfare, warfare, spending out. Just create inflation is probably worse in the UK than everywhere else. Just what are you going to do? What are you going to do? No answer. 30 year. Look at that. Total bullish breakout. Yields are crazy. How can you be buying markets now? How can you buy markets? Okay, let's look at the dollar, which is just resetting for the day. Now, I'm going to have to just delete this because I can't see anyone that's getting that precise. This horizontal resistance is obviously working, you know. This descending resistance that coincides perfectly on today, you know, look at that. It tried to venture up resistance. There is resistance here. All right. I'm going to bring back that target. I can't see otherwise. The resistance here now, actually, maybe you can see for the first time how the three intertwine here. That is just, it should be very, very strong. So far it is. I mean, look at yesterday's candle. Yeah, with Thursday. Look at Wednesday's candle, how strong it was, how close it was. It was due to keep going up. Well, it did. Look how far down we went, by the way, too. But we rallied and closed near high of day. So that's not bearish. That's actually still a bit bullish, even though it was basically red, but not the most bullish, of course. It's just there needs to be a decision. Something imminent is happening in the dollar. So news, yields, some geopolitical event, a bank failure, a black swan, basically, something's going to give here because the charts have a way of just timing the world events perfectly. And not to sound too obvious, either we flush or we squeeze up, but there is a decision that needs to take place. I mean, if I look at the currencies, okay, we're coming back down here, but we're pretty much near support. So euro dollar doesn't give away too much. The yen, for me, the dollar should go up against the yen. It's just made a new high. We could retrace back down to this breakout, go back up. The pound, well, to be honest, the pound is quite strong against the dollar, despite how strong the dollar is against other currencies. That's kind of just wants to go back up, but I still think you can't go higher than here. This is just too crazy. And the rest don't really matter. They don't have too much of an impact. Maybe this goes back down. But anyway, it's time to look at the DXY rather than the currencies to get a general average view. I don't know what's going to happen. All I know is there's very strong resistance here. We've had a crazy run. Maybe if there's another 1 or 2 days and it can't break out, sorry, you're going to have to come back down again. And then we can start to talk about support. The first support on the way down will be this horizontal, which was resistance and we broke out of it. But to be honest, looking at these tails, if we come back down here and start to close below one of these tails, then we come lower. And then, actually where this horizontal is, then maybe the last resistance, which also was support. So maybe this zone, which could probably coincide with the descending here, maybe that becomes support. We'll see. I don't want to go into this in too much detail because I know this video is going to be long. Sorry about that. But the dollar, it's make or break moment. And I give it 1 or 2 or 3, not even 3 days. And if it doesn't break out and continue higher, then we're going to have to go lower. And then we can start looking at the potential support on the way down. Actually, I've just noticed this could be useful. Oh my God, my chart's all over the place now. I'll clean it up, but there are several trend lines to look at. Okay, let's look at commodities straight away. Copper, I haven't even looked at copper all day. That's okay. Commodities weren't that bad, given that the dollar was not red really and markets were red. So copper is impressive. Remember, copper is very sensitive to the market. So market being down 1%, copper being up, pretty decent. So, but again, it's just retested prior support, and so far it's closed not above it. So it's not really bullish or bearish. It was almost a bullish engulfing candle. It's a bit more bullish, a bias to the upside there. Maybe I feel like commodities are sniffing a small drop in the dollar. I just have a feeling the dollar's not is going to retrace. Markets bounce tomorrow and dollar retrace. I just feel like that opposite trade needs to take place just for 1 day at least. Natural gas, finally is not a red day. It should curl here. Look, this descending here should act as support. It has so far. We've got 2 days together. I reckon natural gas goes green tomorrow. And to be honest, I do think the markets, but especially commodities, are likely to go green tomorrow. Even though natural gas doesn't care about the dollar, it might just rally with the others. But technically, it's due for a move back up. So that looks okay. Oil, look at that, bounced exactly on the first support of 79. That's nice to see. Closed off its highs, but if the market rallies tomorrow, the dollar drops tomorrow, you could expect a bit more of a move back up. So next resistance is really going to be, it's not going to be 82, 83. It's going to be this zone. So I could delete this. Not like I'm going to forget it. So, and this is also done. Doesn't really count. Let's clean that up very quickly. Let's see what happens. If we start to close below this, I don't think it'll happen tomorrow, but if we do close below 79, or rather below this support level, 78.7 or whatever, back down here. Uranium, pretty surprised uranium was red, but then again, the markets were red and uranium does go down with the markets. Not the best candle, probably wants to go back down a little bit more, but still zoom out. Medium, long term, very bullish stuff. Just could come back down a little bit more. Let's see. All right, gold and silver. Whoops, gold and silver. So look at this descending resistance. It really is magnificent. If I go to the 15-minute chart, just looks more beautiful. Even if it's not perfect, you can see it's obviously correct. So once you close above it, and plus you close it like a close above 1903, 1904, let's be to be sure, that will mark a move up. But we're far from that. Okay, so we gave up a lot of the gains from today, closed near low of day, but this horizontal here, which I've drawn for a while, that held. I feel like starting with silver. Silver was just wild today. Went all the way up to $23. Remember, silver is really working on $1, or sorry, 50-cent increments generally, but especially every dollar it has resistance or support. Look at this. This is also the last high from here. Very strong candle, though. I mean, look at the open. Okay, the close could have been better, but still very, very impressive silver today. I mean, up 1.24% with gold red. That's usually quite rare, but I think also if we just look at, I mean, basically silver saved gold today. That's probably going to be the title of my video, but that's the way I see it. And although gold went back down again and hit 1885, silver still stays green. I just, look at silver. It hasn't actually come back down to its $22 range. And again, this massive target is there for a reason, just like my DXY one. Just underneath 22, you should have this massive support zone because of this ascending. I mean, this ascending starts from very far away, it hits many times, and not just early on. Look at this period. I think it's very strong. So maybe people just front ran the support and just bought early. And but still, gold closes below 1900. So I still think it's all about the dollar. And maybe, let's see, I just feel like gold and silver are going to start moving in different directions to the markets. That's yet to be seen. But let's just use the trend lines. You've got this descending one. You've got your horizontal ones. I think my trend lines are completely correct. Silver is probably more important than gold to watch to get a general idea of trend lines, reversal, opportunities in the precious metals. But dollar yields and markets also count. Let's look at the GDX. Now, this has continued to go lower. So miners are underperforming the metals. The gap, forget it. Even yesterday, we closed below the gap, so that was toast. I'm going to say this. I bought some miners today. I just looked at silver, and it was towards the end of day as they were rallying off their lows. I just thought, yeah, the dollar, I just have this. Sometimes you got to go with your gut. I just feel like the dollar is not going to make that breakout. I think it's just been up for too long. I could just sense that the miners are ready to move up, especially Newmont, by the way, which I added to today. That one, I mean, I shouldn't really do this, but I mean, look at Newmont. This is, look at these. You've got this low from down here. I know they can always go lower, and also look at this candle over candle close a high of day green up 1%. And also look at this trend line here, which is not mine. I didn't steal it, but I saw it from Gareth Soloway, who I really like, by the way. And I thought, my God, how did I miss that one? And, you got both coinciding here. Very good. You could probably draw a few more, but let's keep it simple. I think it's going to move to 40 tomorrow. So I never really judge a full sector trade based on one stock, even though it's Newmont, which makes up a large part of the ETF. But I saw that. I saw the miners just come down. They're just coming down less and less. I didn't even look at the RSI, but I just feel like if I did the RSI and MACD, they'd probably be turning in a bullish momentum. Silver held very well. I think it's unlikely that silver goes red tomorrow. I feel like gold is due for a bounce. And whatever. I just went with my gut. So miners, I bought. I know they can go low, and if they do, it's not too much lower. I mean, how much is this? 2%? Okay, 3.5% max. Whatever. I'm buying early. GDXJ, same sort of thing. Yeah, probably a bit more. So, I mean, what did I add to? I added to, I might as well go straight through the miners, make it a bit of a special one. I added to I added to my top four. So Newmont, I'm talking about seniors, definitely Newmont towards the high of day, actually. So 38.60, I think it was. I just chased, but it's not really a chase, it's totally destroyed stock. Barrick Gold, which was quite off its low. Look at this bounce on the horizontal, beautiful. I mean, this is nowhere near as low as Newmont, but I bought that also like 15.60, or maybe I'm confused with Newmont, but pretty close to where it is now, actually. Agnico Eagle, I bought them all at the same time. I just had this will to do so. And look at this, closed a high of day, 1%. Agnico Eagle, wonderful stock. You know, didn't they have earnings recently? Amazing earnings. So Wheaton, no, actually, it's Pan American Silver, the other one I bought, just because also really good earnings due. I think it will move up to 1680. Obviously, it needs the sector to do it for it, but yeah, those are the four I bought. And then I know Coeur d'Alene was yesterday. Very happy about that at 33 to 33. EXK I bought today. Look at that, right on its horizontal trend line, because I feel like they're going to move. Now, this one, you know, like my 4 or 5 silver stocks, they move aggressively, whatever direction you go. I feel like this could have a nice pop. So nibbled a little bit on the 2 silver aggressive stocks, although CDU was yesterday, it was EXK today, and then 4 of the seniors today. So yeah, obviously I could be wrong, but I have a long-term thesis, right? So I don't care if I'm wrong, because I have ammunition to buy more lower. So that's the minus. I realized this is all over the place. Crypto, right? Look at Bitcoin, absolutely on this ascending. I've had this for absolutely months, this ascending. Another asset class that's on support. Now, this is not the best look. Yes, it's on support. It will probably bounce tomorrow. If it doesn't, down we go to 25,000, maybe even lower than this, to be honest. Maybe this one here, because this one used to be relevant. 25,000. This descending, it won't hit that, because if it does, it's going all the way back down there. It's going to at least bounce to 25,000. So if we don't hold this, 25,000 after that, this low here, this doesn't count really. Probably does have a pit stop at 22,000, maybe 24, 22, but 20 is the big one. Let's just stick with 20 for now. I don't like to ruin charts too much, but that's significant. And by the way, wait, I'm at Bitcoin. What does it say? Ethereum. I just deleted Bitcoin. Okay, I'll get it back later. Ethereum, look at that. Actually, I didn't notice, but yesterday it was on its trend line. So basically today it just opened and flushed close to low day. So Ethereum is already, I was going to go back to Bitcoin, but I lost my chart, but is underperforming, which makes sense. Bitcoin is just, you know, dominating. Look at Bitcoin dominance, by the way, still really high if you look at the last couple of months, but Ethereum is looking like Bitcoin nearing 25,000. This is 25,000 for Bitcoin, 1,600, and Ethereum's lost support. So, okay, Bitcoin might rally tomorrow, so Ethereum could go up, at which point 1,800 is obviously resistance, prior support. But crypto doesn't look good, and you know what? Markets don't look good either. So forget the one bounce that I think is coming tomorrow. Crypto, which hasn't really participated in the rally, I think will participate in the cascade flush, and then you could start seeing Bitcoin all the way back down again. So, and one other thing, I can't believe I'm just going to expand this video a bit more, but look at all of the crypto miners. They've all got the same sort of, okay, this is very rough, ascending support. So Mara is not there yet. Actually, that might be the one exception. But if you just look at all of the other ones, I swear I had these charts. You know, they're all sort of getting to their support zone. Bitfarm, yeah, that one. Look at that today. Bam, perfectly hot, almost there. That was, some of them are just one day away. One more extra flush. Coinbase, okay, that one not so much. But look how much they've come down. It's beautiful, because I was selling my hive on the way up. MicroStrategy, you know, 1 or 2 days, it'll come back down. And let's look at my high, which has been obliterated. Beautiful. I was selling on the way up all here. I haven't bought a single share on the way down. So I'm very happy about that. I did think, oh, maybe I should buy around here, but no. So I think this can come back down to 3.5, 3.61 maybe. And then it depends, you know, if Bitcoin's going to flush more, then obviously this will go down more. So very happy to have machine gunned all of these sells. And look at this blow off top, and look at this massive reversal, and down we go. And you know, the reason I didn't buy it down here is because I still thought Bitcoin would flush, which it just did today. And look at the effect, another -8%. So yeah, I might start covering the cryptos a bit more, because that's not really a microcosm of the markets, but you know, a side effect. So it's exciting, all the asset classes. I do think it's going to be a slaughter though. I think there's going to be a lot more red. So watch out. Don't get too eager just because you have money on the sidelines and some things look cheap. Watch out. They're going to get cheaper. My Nvidia short is something I look forward to going down. So it's nice to have at least one short in the market. Otherwise, I have lots of cash on the sidelines looking to add to what I hope is a bunch of quality names. Anyway, it's a long video. Very sorry, but you know what? For those who keep watching, let's look at the Magnificent Seven. Look, this is what I said. This is what I wanted to cover actually earlier on. Look at Apple. It just lost support. You know, that was one reason I thought maybe the markets aren't ready for a flush just yet, because Apple, bam, Apple today gave away this horizontal. This is very significant, I think. Microsoft, look at that. Also red, another move down. No support until around here. Meta, Facebook, look at that. Just lost. Low of day close. Lost this ascending a few days ago. I don't see any obvious support for a while. What else have we got? Google, not so much. Netflix, look at that. Just like Apple, lost its horizontal coming down. Probably going to go back down here. So there are a few big stocks that could move the markets lower on their own. Tesla, that is at support. Anyway, I'll leave it there. It's a long video. So good luck tomorrow.